That was the plan anyway. And as you can see, winter came early. Temperatures dropping, ground's freezing. So,
Dad, this is a lot bigger than I thought it was gonna be.
what do you guys think?
This is way cooler than anything I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great dwelling for a long, long time.
Beloved Homestead Rescue members who tragically passed away.
When Homestead Rescue premiered in 2016, it quickly became a standout series for its raw look at the realities of off-grid living. Led by the Raney family, the show followed struggling homesteaders across America as they fought to save their homes, restore their land, and rebuild their futures. Over the years, viewers grew attached not only to the Raneys, but also to many of the unforgettable people whose stories of perseverance left a lasting impact. Sadly, some of those beloved faces are long gone. So, which Homestead Rescue members are no longer with us? Join us as we look back at 10 beloved members whose lives ended too soon. Marty Raney. Few reality shows place their stars in as much real danger as Homestead Rescue. Every rescue brings the Raney family face to face with raging rivers, unstable mountainsides, brutal winters, wild predators, and unforgiving terrain, where even one wrong decision can turn deadly. That constant risk is part of what has made the series so compelling since it premiered in 2016. But it has also left fans wondering what happens when the cameras stop rolling. And over the years, one question has surfaced again and again, especially after one familiar face quietly disappeared. But you're about to find out the truth. When Marty stepped away from Homestead Rescue after its 6th season, the news caught many longtime viewers completely off guard. As the heart of the Raney family, Marty had become known for his practical skills, calm leadership, and ability to solve problems that often seemed impossible. His sudden absence created uncertainty about the future of the show, leaving fans wondering whether the series could continue without the man who had helped make it such a success. Determined to keep the show moving forward, the producers introduced a familiar face rather than a complete stranger. Marty's son, Matt Raney, who had already appeared on several rescues, stepped into a larger role alongside the rest of the family. While many viewers welcomed the transition, others struggled to accept anyone filling Marty's place. Because Marty has always kept his personal life out of the spotlight, his disappearance from television only fueled more speculation. And before long, rumors began spreading that something far more tragic had happened. Despite those rumors, Marty Raney is very much alive. Born on July 28, 1956, he continues to enjoy life with his family away from the cameras. Still, fans had good reason to believe the dangers featured on the show were real. In one unforgettable episode, Marty's own cabin was destroyed by fire, forcing the Raneys to rebuild before winter arrived. Then came another intense mission, appropriately titled Hill of Death, where Marty tackled a towering 100-foot cliff to create a road for a struggling Oregon homestead. Moments like these reminded viewers that on Homestead Rescue, survival is never guaranteed, and that reality is exactly what keeps fans coming back. But while Marty remains the unmistakable leader of the pack, viewers have long noticed that some of the show's most grueling, hands-on tasks fall to the next generation. Stick around to find out the truth behind the endless rumors surrounding Marty's son, Matt Raney, and whether he is actually planning to leave the family business for good. Matt Raney. For years, Matt Raney has been at the center of countless rumors among Homestead Rescue fans. Whenever he appeared in fewer episodes or seemed to take a less prominent role during a rescue, speculation spread almost immediately. Some viewers became convinced he had quietly left the series, while others wondered if something had happened behind the scenes. As the questions continued to circulate online, many assumed there had to be more to the story. In reality, though, the answer is far less dramatic than the rumors suggested. The truth is, that Matt has never left Homestead Rescue. Since the show premiered in 2016, he has remained one of the Raney family's key members, working alongside his father, Marty Raney, and his sister, Misty Raney. While Marty often oversees the bigger picture, Matt is usually the one taking on the most physically demanding tasks. Whether he's building cabins from the ground up, creating sustainable food systems, or teaching struggling homesteaders how to hunt and survive in the wilderness, his hands-on approach has made him an essential part of every rescue. That level of confidence doesn't come overnight. Matt was raised deep in the Alaskan wilderness, where survival wasn't a hobby, but a way of life. Under Marty's guidance, he learned how to hunt, trap, build, and adapt to some of the harshest conditions imaginable. By the time television introduced the Raney family to millions of viewers, Matt had already spent years mastering the skills he now shares with families fighting to save their homesteads. Away from the cameras, Matt lives a much quieter life with his wife, Katie, and their children in Alaska. Unlike many reality television personalities, he rarely puts his private life on display, preferring to spend his time outdoors instead of chasing attention online. Far from stepping away, Matt continues to play a major role in the Raney family's mission. He recently returned alongside Marty and Misty for Homestead Rescue intervention, proving that despite the endless rumors, he remains as committed as ever to helping families build a future off the grid. Clint Morehouse. Clint Morehouse may not have been part of the original Homestead Rescue team, but it did not take long for him to feel like family. With his towering build, unmistakable beard, aviator sunglasses, and perfectly timed sense of humor, Clint quickly became one of the most recognizable faces on the show. While the rescues often involve intense physical labor and high-pressure situations, his relaxed personality and genuine smile bring a welcome sense of balance to even the toughest projects. Clint joined the series in 2023 as the Raney family's build foreman, working side by side with Marty Raney on some of the show's biggest construction challenges. From framing cabins and reinforcing damaged structures to operating heavy equipment, he has become an important part of turning ambitious rescue plans into reality. His ability to step into demanding situations and get the job done has made him one of Marty's most trusted teammates. Long before television introduced him to viewers, Clint had already built an impressive career in construction. He is highly skilled at operating excavators, skid steers, backhoes, and other heavy machinery, giving the team the experience needed to tackle large-scale projects in some of the country's most unforgiving landscapes. Whether the job calls for clearing land, moving massive amounts of earth, or building from the ground up, Clint is often the man behind the controls. Of course, it is not just his craftsmanship that has won over fans. His quick wit and natural comedic timing regularly lighten the mood during difficult rescues, reminding viewers that even in the middle of exhausting work, there is always room for a laugh. That combination of skill and personality has helped make him one of the standout additions to the series. Although Clint has appeared in dozens of episodes since joining the cast, he remains a private person away from the cameras. Rather than seeking attention, he prefers to focus on the work itself, helping the Raney family transform struggling homesteads into places where families have a real chance to build a better future. Rick Robles. Long before joining Homestead Rescue, Robles had already established himself as an accomplished voice-over artist. His distinctive voice has been featured in documentaries, television specials, reality programs, and even video games. Over the years, his credits have included Biography, True Hollywood Story, Proof of Innocence, The Real Story of Thanksgiving, Sharkzilla, and The Ghost Recon, advanced warfighter video games, showcasing a career that extends far beyond a single series. Despite being heard by millions of viewers, Robles has always preferred to remain behind the scenes. Instead of becoming an on-screen personality, he allows the families and the Raney team to stay at the center of every episode, while his narration quietly guides the audience through each rescue. Years after first lending his voice to the series, Rick Robles continues to narrate Homestead Rescue, making him one of the longest-serving members of the production. His voice has become every bit as familiar to fans as the faces they watch each week. Not every important member of Homestead Rescue appears on camera. While viewers naturally focus on Marty, Misty, Matt, and the families they help, another familiar presence has been guiding every rescue from the very beginning. Rick Robles, the show's longtime narrator, has become one of its most recognizable voices, leading audiences through every challenge, setback, and victory, with a style that keeps each story moving from start to finish. Even though viewers rarely see him, his narration has become an unmistakable part of the show's identity. For years, Robles has opened each episode by introducing the families in need and explaining the obstacles standing in their way. As the rescues unfold, his narration helps viewers understand what the Raneys are trying to accomplish, why each project matters, and what could happen if they run out of time. Whether the danger comes from failing structures, harsh weather, or limited resources, his voice connects every stage of the journey, giving the series the feel of a carefully told documentary rather than a typical reality show. But while Rick Robles keeps the audience informed from the recording booth, there is one member of the team whose physical work on the ground ensures those stories have a happy ending. Keep watching to see how Marty's daughter, Misty, became the ultimate secret weapon for struggling homesteaders across the country. Misty Raney Bilodeau. For many viewers, Misty Raney Bilodeau is the steady hand that keeps every rescue moving forward. While the toughest construction projects often grab the most attention, Misty has built her reputation by focusing on the skills that keep a homestead alive long after the cameras leave. From designing productive gardens and building greenhouses to protecting livestock and teaching food preservation, she has become the person families rely on to create a future they can actually sustain. Her calm demeanor and practical mindset have made her one of the most respected members of the Raney team. Those skills were shaped long before television found the family. Born on November 9, 1979, in Sitka, Alaska, Misty grew up learning how to survive in one of the country's toughest environments. As the youngest daughter of Marty and Molly Raney, she mastered gardening, fishing, hunting, construction, and off-grid living from an early age. What began as everyday life eventually became the expertise she now shares with struggling homesteaders across America. Within the Raney family, everyone brings a different strength to the table. Marty leads the major construction projects. Matt focuses on hunting and wilderness survival, while Misty specializes in creating systems that allow families to become self-sufficient. Whether she is building predator-proof animal enclosures, compost systems, smokers, or reliable food storage, her goal is always the same: helping people build a homestead that will last. Off-camera, Misty lives the same lifestyle she encourages others to embrace. She and her husband, Micaiah Bilodeau, built their own cabin in Alaska almost entirely by themselves. Married since March 17, 2000, they have one son, Gage, and prefer to keep their family life private while splitting their time between Alaska and Hawaii. What makes Misty stand out is her willingness to challenge expectations. She moves effortlessly between heavy construction projects and sustainable farming, proving that strength and self-sufficiency have no limits. That combination of knowledge, determination, and authenticity is exactly why she continues to be one of the most admired faces on Homestead Rescue. Micaiah Bilodeau. Unlike most of the people who appear on Homestead Rescue, Micaiah Bilodeau has never tried to become the center of attention. Even so, longtime viewers have come to appreciate the quiet role he plays alongside his wife, Misty Raney Bilodeau. Whenever he appears, his calm personality, impressive carpentry skills, and willingness to tackle difficult projects make it clear why he fits so naturally into the Raney family's way of life. He may stay behind the scenes, but his contributions have never gone unnoticed. Long before audiences were introduced to him, Messiah had already built a life centered around hard work and self-sufficiency. A professional carpenter by trade, he has spent years building and maintaining homes in demanding environments where skill and resourcefulness are essential. Those same abilities have proven valuable whenever he has worked alongside the Raneys, helping complete projects that require both experience and precision. His passion for the outdoors extends well beyond construction. Micaiah is also an experienced surfer, and together, he and Misty split their time between Alaska and Hawaii. During the warmer months, they focus on their homestead in Alaska, while the winter season allows them to enjoy the slower pace and waves of Hawaii. That balance reflects the adventurous lifestyle they have built together over the years. Married since March 17, 2000, Micaiah and Misty have one son, Gage, and have deliberately kept their family life away from the public eye. Rather than simply encouraging others to embrace off-grid living, they practice what they preach. In 2018, the couple turned another shared passion into a business by restoring a classic Volkswagen Westphalia and launching a camper van rental service in Hawaii. Even with projects like that and occasional appearances on Homestead Rescue, Micaiah has never chased fame. He remains focused on his family, his craft, and the outdoor lifestyle he genuinely loves. Molly Raney. While the Raney family has become famous for helping struggling homesteaders rebuild their lives, one of the people most responsible for that legacy has spent almost all of her time away from the spotlight. Molly Raney has never chased television fame, yet her strength, resilience, and unwavering support have helped shape the family that millions of viewers have come to admire. Though she rarely appears on screen, her story is deeply woven into everything Homestead Rescue represents. Molly married Marty Raney in 1974, and together they chose a life that few people would willingly embrace. Their first home was a floating logging camp off Prince of Wales Island, without electricity, plumbing, or modern comforts. Not long afterward, they established a remote homestead near Haines, Alaska, where they raised their 4 children, Melanie, Miles, Misty, and Matt, almost entirely off the grid. Long before cameras documented the Raney family's lifestyle, Molly was living it every single day. Life in the Alaskan wilderness tested the family in ways most people can hardly imagine. When Molly went into labor with her first child, serious complications forced her to be flown by emergency aircraft to Whitehorse in Canada's Yukon Territory. It was a frightening reminder of just how isolated their homestead truly was, and the sacrifices required to build a life so far from modern conveniences. Despite those challenges, Molly remained the quiet foundation of the family. Alongside raising 4 children, she helped support the family's business while creating the home and values that shaped the next generation of Raneys. Those same lessons in hard work, perseverance, and self-reliance are now passed on to families across America through the work Marty, Misty, and Matt do on the show. In 2021, tragedy struck when the family's longtime cabin was destroyed by fire. Instead of giving up, the Raneys came together to build a new home, giving viewers a rare glimpse into Molly's remarkable strength. Even today, she continues living with Marty in Alaska, proving that the off-grid lifestyle she embraced decades ago is still the one she proudly calls home. But while Marty and Molly's younger children chose to share their rugged lives on global television, their eldest daughter decided on a very different path. Melanie Raney Stiasny. Among the Raney siblings, Melanie Raney Stiasny is easily the most private, while her father, Marty Raney, and her younger siblings, Matt and Misty, became familiar faces through Homestead Rescue. Melanie chose a quieter life away from television. Even so, longtime viewers have occasionally seen her during family-focused episodes, offering a glimpse into the eldest daughter whose love for the outdoors has always been just as strong as the rest of the family. Melanie's story began under extraordinary circumstances. She was born in Whitehorse, Yukon, after her mother, Molly, developed serious complications while the family was living in an isolated part of Alaska. With no nearby medical facilities available, an emergency flight across the Canadian border became the only option. It was a dramatic beginning that reflected the realities of the remote lifestyle the Raneys had chosen to live. Growing up, Melanie learned the same survival skills that shaped the rest of her family. Hunting, fishing, hiking, gathering food, and living off the land were part of everyday life rather than special activities. Those experiences sparked a lifelong passion for the wilderness. But instead of following her family into reality television, she built a career introducing others to Alaska's natural beauty. Together with her husband, Ari Stiasny, Melanie has been involved with Chugach Adventures, leading guided rafting, hiking, and wilderness tours through Alaska's breathtaking backcountry. Their work allows visitors to experience the outdoors alongside guides who have spent their lives exploring some of the state's most remote landscapes. Although many fans have wondered why she never became a regular cast member on Homestead Rescue, there has never been any mystery behind her decision. She simply preferred focusing on her family and career while remaining close to her parents and siblings. Her appearances on Homestead Rescue, Raney Ranch gave viewers a rare chance to see the entire family working together. But away from the cameras, Melanie continues to embrace the quiet, outdoor lifestyle that has defined the Raney family for generations. Owen Bird. Owen Bird may be one of the newest additions to the Homestead Rescue team, but his connection to the Raney family goes far beyond the job site. Introduced as Matt Raney's nephew, Owen represents the next generation of a family that has spent decades mastering off-grid living, construction, and wilderness survival. Although he arrived without much fanfare, viewers quickly noticed his willingness to jump into demanding projects and work alongside some of the show's most experienced builders. Unlike other members of the construction crew who joined from outside the family, Owen grew up connected to the Raney legacy. That family bond makes his role especially meaningful, as he becomes one of the first younger relatives to actively participate in the rescues that have made the series so popular. His arrival also hints at how the family's knowledge and traditions are gradually being passed on to a new generation. Owen made his first appearances during the 2024 season, joining Marty, Matt, Misty, Clint Morehouse, and the rest of the build team as rescue projects became larger and more demanding. While he rarely takes center stage, he plays an important role behind the scenes, helping frame buildings, haul materials, operate equipment, and complete the physically challenging work that keeps each rescue moving forward. It is the kind of work that often goes unnoticed, but without it, many of the Raneys' ambitious plans would never become reality. Since joining the series, Owen has appeared in episodes such as Alligator Aid, Brown Paranoia, and Raney Returns, Paradise Lost, steadily becoming a more familiar face to longtime viewers. Even with his growing presence on television, he has remained remarkably private, sharing very little about his life away from the cameras. For many fans, Owen's involvement represents something bigger than a new cast member. It signals that the Raney family's tradition of hard work, practical skills, and off-grid living is continuing into another generation. As he gains more experience with each rescue, Viewers will be watching to see just how much his role continues to grow. Kaj Cornelissen. Kaj Cornelissen may be one of the newer faces on Homestead Rescue, but it did not take long for him to become a reliable part of the team. While he is not a member of the Raney family, his strong work ethic and construction experience have earned him a place alongside Marty, Matt, and the rest of the crew during some of the show's most demanding rescues. As the projects have grown larger and more ambitious, Kaj has quietly become one of the dependable builders, helping bring each rescue to life. Unlike some newcomers, Kaj did not arrive as a stranger. Before appearing on television, he already had a close relationship with the Raney family. In fact, his first on-screen credit identified him as a Raney family friend, showing that Marty and the rest of the family trusted him long before viewers were introduced to him. As time went on, that role naturally expanded, and Kaj officially became part of the show's build crew. His first appearance came in the season 11 episode Bridge Over Troubled Water, where the Raneys worked to help an Oregon family whose deteriorating bridge had left their homestead difficult and dangerous to reach. Kaj joined the construction effort, assisting with the demanding work needed to restore safe access to the property. From that point forward, he continued returning for additional rescues as his role steadily grew. Whether framing structures, hauling heavy materials, or tackling physically exhausting construction work, Kaj has shown that he is willing to take on whatever the job requires. He has since appeared alongside Marty Raney, Clint Morehouse, Owen Bird, and the rest of the build team during several major rescue projects, helping transform struggling homesteads into safer and more sustainable places to live. Despite becoming a familiar face to viewers, Kaj has remained an intensely private person away from the cameras. He rarely shares details about his personal life, choosing instead to let his work speak for itself. That humble approach, combined with his steady presence on the build crew, has made him a valued member of the extended Homestead Rescue family. What name on the list shocked you the most? Share your thoughts with us in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.